You know what we can't run?
An anime podcast.
Welcome back
Hi, everybody.
to 2 weeks after the last time we saw you, which was, the start of the fall season,
Yeah.
the beginning of all these fresh new animes. I have a lot to talk about.
I have a moderate amount to talk about.
So I don't know how you wanna talk about this. I don't know if you want to go first, if I want to go first. I don't know.
Well,
if you
I think there's gonna be a lot of overlap. So how about you go, and then if I've because I'm gonna presume you've probably seen all the shows I've seen. So
probably
you can go, and then I'll just give my input when I get the chance.
Cool. I'm gonna start this off by talking about the. So first, I'm gonna list the 2 shows that surprised me, and then the 3 shows that surprised me, and the 2 shows that I am very, very happy with. So the 3 shows that surprised me
this number would be increasing.
No, I said 3. 3 and 2.
No, the first time you said 2.
Yeah, but I changed it to 3. Look.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It keeps increasing.
How dare you? So the first one on the list for ones that surprised me has to be Higurashi. When They Cry. The show is spooky. It's eerie. It's tragic, kinda. From the first scene, I was automatically hooked because I needed to know what was going on. It's perfect for the spooky season that we're in. I can't even begin to explain the amount of emotions and processing power that my brain went through while watching the first 3 episodes of this show.
Have you never seen the old Higurashi?
I haven't.
Huh. That surprises me, because when you said all that, I was thinking, how did Frank not come in with these expectations?
I haven't seen it. I've seen other shows that are kind of like it, like Another or other things, but this is the first time I sat down and watched a Higurashi show.
Okay.
And I was like, whoa, I'm here for this. The next one that really threw me for a loop is one that I can't say I'm the proudest to say that I kind of fell into, but it happened, so I have to talk about it. And that's Sports Climbing Girls. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know what in my brain clicked for me to come back to this show for each of the episodes that are out at the moment. But something about it keeps drawing me back. I don't know if it's the comedic effect of it. I don't know if it's the actual technical sounding reasoning behind why sports climbing should be a seriously talked about sport. But this show, it does it for me. Over the past year and a half, I've recently been getting into a good amount of sports animes, and this one is it hits for me. I don't know why, but it does, and I can't wait to see where it goes. The last show for surprises for me was Akudama Drive. Now the art style alone made me want to watch the show, but I realized I didn't read any synopsises. I didn't look at any artwork before I went into it. I just knew that it was going to look pretty. So going into it and seeing the sci-fi world that they built here, and all of the action and just hilarious moments that comes with a show like this, instantly became one of my favorite shows of the season. And I was dying that right before this podcast I had to watch episode 2 just so I could satisfy that part of me, because I had to see it. Now the 2 shows that I'm really happy about, that would be Tonikawa. As you remember, that's the show with the old woodcutter story. And
the one where a guy gets hit by a truck. Yeah,
yes, you know, isekai. It's not
it's not an
isekai.
isekai.
I know it's not. But it has a very, I don't know how to say it, but it's almost refreshing comedic effect to it. I've realized that they make a lot of other anime references. I know the last episode I watched, they referenced Food Wars,
Mm.
and I found that very entertaining. And it's a very cute show. It's a very cute show, and just seeing the introspective minds of some of the characters in the show just makes it all the better. The other one, I'm patiently waiting for after this podcast to hope the second episode comes out, is The Day I Became a God. Because that show, within the first 20 minutes of the, you know, it being out, I instantly wanted the whole season at the moment. Because I did not want to wait and see week by week what happens. I wanted everything right now because I know at some point it's going to hit me in the feels and I know I'm not going to be able to handle it, but I want it anyway and I want it as soon as possible because this show is hilarious. This show brings out that same kind of elements that Charlotte and Angel Beats and Clannad and Little Busters and Canon brings out, where you just feel good watching it, but you know something's lingering in the background there. And if anyone's seen the trailer, you know that lingering thing is the quote unquote words that the world's gonna end in 30 days. So it's very built where you really want to know what happens, but they're having so much fun before then that you almost forget about it. It's insane. Those were the 5 shows I wanted to start with. I want to hear what
Okay.
you have before I go back through this list because I have a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, so I have of the 5 shows that you've seen that you just mentioned, I've seen one of them.
Which one?
Tonikawa.
Mm.
I've only seen the first episode at this point, and I thought it was all right.
Oh, all right. I mean, you know, it's fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that the first episode didn't really do enough to pull like me in personally. I think it's cute. I think I had a couple funny moments, but I think from the first episode, it's kind of. I think I probably need to watch a couple more episodes to kind of like get these characters because at the moment, you know, you have the main guy and he who's like all he is about is his drive and so I haven't really gotten attached to him. And then there is the girl who I know nothing about.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to keep watching it, but at the moment that's how I feel.
It's total 3 episodes out right now. I think definitely by that third episode, you'll start to get a little bit more familiar with these characters.
I hope so.
So what else you got for me?
Should I just go? I guess I don't really have any shows that surprised me, unfortunately. But I was not, but I haven't been disappointed by any show so far. The shows I've been the most satisfied though by, definitely my number one is Taiso Samurai. I've only seen the first episode so far. Most of these I've only seen the first episode of. Um, Taiso Samurai definitely it just has like it just flows so well and it just has like so much charm to it. Love the ED of it. It's just really fun to watch. And yeah, I'm expecting a lot from that show.
It's good to hear.
The other show that I think I was most satisfied by. This was a little surprising to me, just because I wasn't because I was kind of like I was gonna watch it just because I knew this was gonna be like the big action show this season was Jujutsu Kaisen. This is Bleach. This is precisely how this gives you the real feeling of early Bleach, and I love that. Now, you aren't the biggest Bleach fan. Am I correct in saying that?
Not the biggest, but I have peered into Jujutsu Kaisen, and I can't say I was disappointed.
Yeah, I like the show. It's fun, and yeah, it just kind of gives you like I've seen the first 2 episodes. It feels like early Bleach. That's and that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. I haven't really like when back in the heyday of the quote unquote big three, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach. I was riding hard on the Bleach term that you use when you say you're in a group for something.
Fandom?
No, it's like a vehicle.
Train?
No,
Bus?
I think it's something bus. Anyway, yeah, that was my thing, and then Bleach became later Bleach, which was unfortunate. But yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen really has that feeling of like early Bleach, and that really excites me. And so I'm looking forward to that a lot.
Mm. Other shows that I've looked at. Uh, I have to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it immediately because I have to prep myself just to say it. But man, do I love this Dragon Quest anime. The Adventures of Dai is what I've been waiting for since it was announced, and I am not disappointed. The animation is amazing. The story so far has been hilarious. It betrayed anything that I would consider a bad expectation. And it is just, I love it. I love it. I know it's I believe it's a remake of a previous show, The Adventures of Dai, that came out, I want to say, back in the mid to late 90s. But whatever they're doing with this show, I love it. I don't know if it's the exact same. I don't know if it's completely different, but whatever this show is doing is what I want. And there's a couple other shows that I still need to get to that I haven't gotten the chance to sit down and watch myself yet. That I did want to make sure that it was known that I'll bring these up in a different podcast. But King's Raid, Hypnosis Mike, Kuma 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 Bear. I am gonna get to Taizo's Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the name of the show, but it's Moriarty, the Patriot.
Oh yeah, Piero Moriarty.
Yes, that one. I want to get to
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
another show that I also was like really interested me, but I just for some reason didn't get around to it. I think it was just because like all the other shows were a bit more popular, so I was like, okay, so I need to get to those 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah,
That's
definitely
another one on my list. I have to get to I'm Standing on 100 Lives, Ikebukuro Westgate, the one about the sleeping princess.
Oh, funny enough, I did watch the first episode of Ikebukuro Westgate.
How'd you like it?
I love this show, but I have one very small fear for the show that
What's
might
that?
ruin everything. And so, are you aware of the premise?
Yes.
Okay, so as you might know, the secondary protagonist King is the leader of a group called the G Boys.
Mm.
My entire fear is that G Boys is going to stand for Good Boys. Let me explain.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I guess this is my segue into Ikebukuro Westgate Park. This show's cool. It hasn't wowed me yet, but it's been a fun ride so far, and looking forward to more of it.
Mm.
Very surprised when I learned Doga Kobo was working on this, because didn't really seem like a Doga Kobo show.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so what you need to know, so this show is about Ikebukuro is known for its gangs, and this one focuses on a gang called the G Boys, who is really working hard to like push out like drug dealers out of Ikebukuro.
Mm.
And the fact that their agenda is anti-drug, it makes the idea that the G boy stands for good boys way worse. Besides that, cool show. Definitely need to see more of it to judge it, but it's cool so far.
Yeah, so the other two shows, I think there's only two more that I've seen that I really wanna get into before I start talking about the continuations of other seasons. Are well, speaking continuations, Yasahime, um, I thought had a phenomenal start. The first episode, for anyone who's thinking, man, I haven't seen Inuyasha in so long, and this, that, and the other thing. This happens to be not only the 20th year anniversary for Inuyasha's debut, but the first episode is the exact thing you need to get into the mindset of watching this show, because it's the epilogue for what happens with Inuyasha and what's her name again?
I think it's Kogame. I've never seen Inuyasha.
Kogame. Uh, someone's gonna tell me it's something else, and I'll fix that when I get to it. But
in the comments below, tell us how you spell Kagarim.
Kagome, and it's one of those. But it's the show itself. I thought did a fantastic job setting up for a new series and bringing in this new generation of characters for what's going to be, what I believe, a very long running show, because it's one of the shows where they haven't announced a specific number of episodes that are going to be coming, and I think that's amazing because I want this to be long. I want 60 episodes like I'm getting for Digimon. I want it to detail the entire world that they're trying to build, that's taking place all these years after the story of Inuyasha had finished.
Now, Swarm, I want to ask you a question.
What's
so,
up?
for people like me who have never seen Inuyasha, do you think that we could get into this show?
I think the show will explain everything you need to know. So if you're not familiar with the story of Inuyasha, then the first episode might be lost on you because you won't understand some of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
But the after point of that, so episode 2 going forward, where it's Yasahime's story, it feels fresh, it feels unique. It's not tied down by the same conventions that Inuyasha was. So it's a bit of more of a fresh air. It's like the same question I get all the time where people ask if you could watch Boruto without watching Naruto. You can, but it does enhance it a million times over if you have seen the previous show. It doesn't mean you won't be able to enjoy and get into the show. It just means that certain things will be explained to you, and it won't have the same effect as it would on somebody who knows some of these characters or knows what happened in certain areas in the world. So I say you can definitely give it a shot.
Okay. Yeah, because especially like when I tried to get into Boruto, I had a lot of difficulties with that because there were a lot of relations that did not click whatsoever for me as a person who stopped watching Naruto about halfway through and then coming into it. Like, there's a lot of. I think Naruto, especially because it still is in the same town and features so many of those characters, it kind of expects you to know a lot more.
Yeah, so it with Boruto, it does expect you to have some pre-built favor for a lot of the characters. So what Boruto does, they do two different things. They'll either explain everything you would need to know about what's going on or about certain characters, but then they'll have a whole subsection of characters that just show up and seem kind of random that you wouldn't understand unless you knew them from the previous show.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not gonna sit around and explain Rock Lee to you.
Yeah.
But if Sasuke walks on the screen, they're gonna make sure you know exactly who Sasuke is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird dynamic that they try to push forward that it sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't. But Yasahime does not have that problem.
Okay.
After the first episode, which is the epilogue for the other characters, it basically sets you up for a whole new journey. I can't think of a very direct comparison, but
Mm-hmm.
it's something where if you didn't watch Inuyasha, it's not gonna hinder you.
Hmm.
You'll just think, man, I wonder who her dad is, but it's fine.
Mm.
The other show that I wanted to talk about for a second is the one we've talked about before, which is Adachi to Shimamura. This show is so damn interesting to me. I don't know exactly how they managed to make me follow a story of two delinquent girls playing ping pong and hiding from gym classes disinteresting to me, but I never want to miss an episode. It's something about the way they tell the characters' mindsets, how they show the emotions that are building between these two characters in a way that shows that there's a connection here that even they don't understand. There's something more primal and something more raw about the emotion driving these two to hang out with each other, to do the things that they do without, wanting to be caught or wanting other people to meddle in it. And it's an awkward show. It's a just a very strategic show of placing certain scenes in certain orders to produce different emotions and then tying them all together towards the end of the show, which I think is a brilliant way of storytelling. One of the best things that I realized about the show is just how introspective it is. I believe one of the characters, I want to say it was Adachi, said relationships are like free diving, and I thought this analogy can go one of a million ways. But the imagery behind it, the explanation of it, and then them showing how you don't know what's going to come out of something unless you're already into it, blew me away. And I thought it was crazy good. Have you taken a peek into Hidachi and Shinamura?
No.
I highly recommend.
Mm.
The last show that I peeked into before, the big ones, which are Haikyuu, How to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon,
The
and
continuations.
yeah, the continuations, was Noblesse.
Oh, the pizza one.
Yes, the pizza one. So for those who don't know, I don't know if it was a sweepstakes or whatever it was, but in
Yes, it was a
certain
contest.
contest, okay. So I know in certain areas of the country, they were delivering pizza boxes that were specially like Noblesse themed, and I
Well,
thought
they
that was
weren't
amazing.
Noblesse themed. The box was Noblesse themed. The pizza was a normal pizza.
Well, yes, okay. So the box was Noblesse themed. I know they did it in California, New York, and I think a few other states. But I found this to be, a very hilarious way to promote your show. But I 100% approve of these marketing methods.
All right, now before you get into the description, like your thoughts on the show, is pizza relevant to the show, or is that just a random thing on the Crunchyroll's end?
There was pizza in the first episode. I guess I could say that much.
Okay, but was it like relevant? Like, is it like Code Geass levels of relevant?
No, not that amount of relevant.
That's disappointing.
The thing about Noblesse is I wasn't one of the ones who read Noblesse, so I didn't have any built up things to think about when watching or coming to the show, except for the trailer that I saw, which I thought from looking at the trailer this is going to be a much more how do you say darker show.
That's surprising to me because the trailer I watched was the one where the dude did a thing and then three girls squealed.
That wasn't the one I watched. The one I watched is
I see we watched very different trailers.
I see we did. The one I watched seemed very serious, and I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be interesting. And it was still interesting. Don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't what I was expecting, and I was still pleasantly surprised. I definitely think that going forward, it's gonna be. I would. It's not at the top of my list, but maybe as we go on, it might come higher. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it from what I saw. This is the era of where certain shows are just a little bit too good for there's always a certain part of the year, you know what I mean, where there's a plenty amount of shows and they all just seem really really good. For us going into 2021, that's looking to be January or spring, because January is the what I'm dubbing it, the continuation era, because there's so many continuations happening and
Sequel season.
sequel season. That's a better one. That it's very good, and then there's also a lot of variety still. There's a lot of new shows that are coming in, a lot of shows that haven't been done before, some that are being done in a different light. Like we have another ice skating show coming. We have another volleyball show coming.
Yeah. We have what's it called? Cells at Work Black.
Cells at Work Black. We have Skate.
You mean Skate the Infinity?
No, I mean Skate.
No, it's called Skate the Infinity.
I don't believe you.
Skate is a different show.
It's called Skate, and
the full title is Skate the Infinity for those who want to look it up.
For those who are looking up, it's spelled S-K and the number 8.
Followed by the Infinity.
No, it's not.
No, it actually is.
Probably in English, but nowhere else. But yeah, we have a lot of shows coming, and January is going to be very interesting. But I think the month to be looking out for is spring, because we have some big stuff coming with Shaman King, with Slime, with Aruma-kun, with My Hero, with Eden Zero. I think we have to look out for the spring season. Also, I didn't realize this, but did you know that the one we talked about before, the Morality, Moriarty, it's a two-parter.
Well, yes, it's getting a second season in spring, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was getting a second core.
Yeah.
And I find that very interesting as well. So 2021 is looking at a very hype year, which is great. But I still believe this fall season to be extremely powerful. And these shows, and I still have a good amount on my list that I want to check out. I believe that this season is full of bangers, and it may be one of our best seasons in the past 3 years.
Well, before we conclude about the season, we should finish talking about the show. So we should our recording at this point.
Yes. So we're back. So talking about Haikyuu, I was going to do. Haikyuu this season is phenomenal, as it is for majority of its seasons. And to the top two, I think is going to have a lot of people emotionally invested and have a lot of people either crying or cheering by the end of this, if not both. I think the same could be said about How to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon 3.
Oh wait, before we continue on, should we do another collapsing in case this is two audio files?
It shouldn't be.
I mean, just in case.
Sure.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
So talking about How to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon 3, it's a banger. From the first episode on, I realized that the subtext of this season was going to be racism, and I'm still here for it. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. I think this is the perfect time for them to bring in their racism storyline. Uh, and they have, and I believe it's going to take off with full colors, and everyone's going to love it, and it's going to be amazing.
Oh my god.
Now, perhaps I should explain what I mean by racism.
No, please leave it there. Don't explain anything.
No, I'm fine. Fine. I won't explain why I say the season is about racism. But if you've seen it, you know why. And if you haven't seen it, you can go watch episode 1, and you'll know why. Because it's literally the entire premise. Other than that, I haven't personally taken a look at Irregular Magic High School. I don't know if you have.
No, I haven't seen the first season. I don't watch garbage.
Wow. All right. But I do plan to at some point take a look into it. It's just not yet.
Mm-hmm. Should I go into the continuations I've seen then?
Yeah, you go ahead. I know you have Golden Kamui on your table.
I'm still getting over the stupid dungeon harem show tackling racism.
Hey, it's what it has to do.
Okay, so so since you mentioned it, Golden Kamui 3. Um yeah, first episode did not d- definitely met expectations. By the end of the first episode, all four of the dudes you see are shirtless. Um I mean, definitely. Now that we've come to a much different region in Japan, in Golden Kamui, a lot of things are unfamiliar, and that's exciting to watch. Especially because like a lot of the exploration aspects of Golden Kamui is all about the land, and so definitely them meeting this new area, meeting new people, changes up the formula a lot. And yeah, I mean, definitely it it has definitely met expectations and surpassed some. There was a hand drawn bear as opposed to a CG one.
That's actually really cool.
That I am Man, we have come a long way since the first episode of Golden Kamui 1 where there was a CGI bear and really bad fire effects. To the point where there's now a hand drawn bear that's dying to a hand drawn thing rather than CGI fire that looks like it should probably be used for a IRL fireplace. But yeah, Golden Kamui 3 off to a great start. Very excited, to see where the story goes because just so much has changed since the end of the last season. Um, that we don't know how things are going to turn around this season.
Now, I need you to sell me a little bit on Golden Comedy because it is one of the shows that it has been on my radar, but I've
Mhm.
never actually had the time to sit and finish it.
Mhm.
I've started it maybe 3 times.
Mhm.
So
All right,
so
so I need to sell you on it.
yeah, sell me, myself, other people too.
Okay, Golden Kamui is a show that is about exploration. Not only exploration in the most literal, traveling through the wilderness um uh of Hokkaido in Japan, but also an exploration of culture.
Mm.
We have two characters on opposite ends of Japanese life in Hokkaido. We have the mil like of the soldiers of the Japanese army who have lived in Japan their entire life, and Japanese culture is all they know. And then beside that, we have the indigenous Ainu people. And while we don't go into the depths of exactly how the relationship is between these two cultures, it is still interesting to see how different these cultures are and how they interact when together.
Very
Um,
interesting.
yeah, and all of the characters are just a lot of fun. You got Sugimoto, who is basically immortal, thus the name Immortal Sugimoto. We got a Sirpa, who is the young, like sharp tongue, female lead, and just a whole bunch of other characters like Scat King. I mean Escape King. Um,
What?
this is a joke in the show. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just a fun adventure that we don't need that's really grounded. This is just people like with guns and hand drawn and or CGI animals just exploring through and facing whatever conflicts come their way. Also just about every few episodes there is a random excuse to get most of the male characters shirtless.
Is it good one?
And yeah, I mean, that's Golden Kamuy.
I might have to take another look at this. But this has been our in-depth discussion about the
Oh, I'm
fall
not done.
season. Oh.
Yeah, we still have Osamatsu-san season 3.
Oh yeah, Otsumasu's on season 3. Please elaborate.
I am so happy with this first episode. So Osamatsu-san is a traditionally pretty meta show. This is a sequel to a show. Osamatsu-san is a sequel to the original Osamatsu series from a long time ago. I want to say this was probably the 60s. And this is a and like the series itself is meta. It is gross. It is vulgar, and I would not have it any other way. And this first episode, I don't think it was as good as season two's first episode with how meta that one was, but it still was a good one. It's a show that is not a lot of people are going to really are going to be able to easily jump onto the show, and this show knows it and embraces it, and I love everything about that.
It's nice to see a show give you so much pleasure.
Yeah.
Now, the do you have any other shows that you want to bring up? Because if not, I'm going to speak on the show that I'm going to peer into next.
Yeah, that is all the shows that I've seen since. Well, there is one other thing, but I think I'll wait until after you're done because I don't think this technically counts as part of the season.
I'm just going to announce that the next show that I'm peering into is going to be Kuma 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 Bear. So for next week, you should be ready for me to in-depthly dissect this show because I've seen so many people talking about it and so many people have asked me questions about it that I have to get to the meat and bones of this show and give the people what they ask for. So yeah, that's my plan. Go for next week in addition to our recommendations. But
Mhm.
let's hear what you had to say.
I'm just gonna briefly touch upon Burn the Witch.
Ah, haha, yes.
So, Burn the Witch, it was confusing to me. Well, okay, so I should preface. It's confusing to me in the sense that I didn't know what this was going to be until after I watched it. So I had, when this was coming out, I had heard that this was either an OVA series, a manga series, or a show. And then on Crunchyroll the other week, it showed up and it had 3 episodes. So I thought, oh, so this is gonna be like the first 3 episodes of a show, like how Vinland Saga did when it came out. No, this was a movie that was split up into 3 parts. And
That's what I thought it was.
yes, I didn't know that until after I watched it. But also, like, the way watching it, like, through, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like this was supposed to be multiple episodes. Like, there's a very clearly the points in which it stopped felt like ends and beginnings of episodes.
I mean, it could have just been a 3-part movie series.
Well, it's more like it I mean, it wasn't. It was released as one movie. All that was an hour and a half long, or probably not. It was like an hour long, I guess. And then there was the first part, which it was its own self-contained thing. That was 20 minutes, and the last 40 minutes was another story. So I think that definitely the 3 episode structure definitely fits for this. Whether or not it
Okay.
would have been better as a movie, I can't really say because I didn't watch it as a movie. Um, but as I mentioned before, I was a huge Bleach fan, and
Mm-hmm.
Burn the Witch is a Type Cubo property, and yeah, and I had a lot of expectations of this. I love Type Cubo's art style, and I had a lot of hopes for this. This movie sucks.
Really?
Yeah, primarily because it. How do I put this? It doesn't. It goes into everything too fast. It feels like this movie should have come out after episodes of a show already existed.
Huh.
It feels like you should have known a lot of these things before coming into this movie. By the end of this movie, I should also mention I have read the one shot Burn the Witch. At the end of this movie, even with that context, I don't know what in the world is going on. Like I get the basic premise, they're witches who hunt dragons. I don't know if they work for a company. I don't know if this is a school that they're going to. I don't know why there are 2 Londons. I don't get it. And yeah, this movie does not explain it to you. It feels like there should have been a lot more like stuff before this movie happened, but there isn't. The only material that exists is the one shot and this movie. Gorgeous
Interesting.
animation though. I will give it that.
I'm really surprised. I know you were heavily looking forward to it. It makes me sad to see that it didn't do for you what it should have.
Yeah, what I'm hoping for is that there is going to be a series made at some point. I'm pretty sure I've heard that there is going to be a manga series written by Taikubo in the works, which is both exciting and terrifying for me. Because Taikubo's not a great writer. He's a fantastic character designer, though.
That is true.
Like, if nothing else about Bleach, all of their characters are just so sharp. They are very distinct, and and yeah, I mean that's it's all really good in the art department. If you have seen the middle part of Bleach, you know exactly how bad Bleach writing can get. If you've seen the middle part and the end part of Bleach, you know how bad it gets. But the late end of Bleach is where it picks up again. But then the very end of Bleach, it gets real bad. So
So
yeah,
that's Burn the Witch, huh?
yeah. I
Uh,
I am hoping that more Burn the Witch stuff happens because this does not do it justice.
okay. So I think this is the moment where we move into our recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to throw you a curveball.
Oh, okay.
So instead of giving you our standard format of a 12 to 13 episode anime, I have decided to give you 6 short movies that make up one anime.
Okay.
The timing is still the same. There's 6 of them. They're all around 48 minutes. So it equals up to a 13 to 14 minute, 12 to 13 episode anime.
Okay, and this is a series.
This is a series of short movies that all flow one into the other.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to how Burn the Witch sounds like it should have been, but different.
Well, no, Burn the Witch was just one movie that was split
That
up
was
into a
chopped
couple
up.
episodes. Yeah.
So that would be by the name of Towa No Quon.
Mm.
From 2011. It's about a boy named Quan and his friends who work as attractors, and they attract. Not really attract, but so their goal is to help kids who develop special supernatural powers and keep them safe from secret organizations that will be hunting them down.
Okay.
So these are made by Bones.
Mm. Okay, so we
So
expect good animation.
the animation will keep you, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my recommendation to you.
All right. In that case, I'll give you my recommendation. So, when we record our next podcast, it will probably, assuming nothing happens in a couple of weeks, probably be the day before Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to give you a kind of spooky recommendation in that it's not exactly scary, but more of a thriller. This was poorly thought out, but well intended. I'm going to give you Paranoia Agent.
Now, for those who don't know, Paranoia Agent is a show that Erebus has told me about many of times, and I have still haven't seen it. So
And now's the
he,
time he hadn't time to watch it. Now he's forced to watch it for
yep. Now
content.
I'm forced to watch it for content. So this is, I'm actually excited.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you a very kind of brief and vague description of the show. Because this show is all about trying to figure out the show as you watch it. So this show is to put simply, is that these are about different people's experiences with a supposed serial killer, which that people recognize as a small child with rollerblades and a golden bat. And what this is really about is an exploration of people. This was made by late famous director Satoshi Kon.
Mm.
And if you know his works, this this is not surprising. And so yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
I hope so as well. I know that this is one you really enjoy, so I plan to either rip it apart or praise it to the high heavens the next time we meet.
I mean, I hope both. I mean, that's kind of what happened with Yurikuma.
I, mm, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
But with that, this has been We Can't Run,
an
an
anime
anime
podcast.
podcast. Bye bye.